Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. This time I'm talking about the pre-launch publicity and marketing that I did. Now, I just want you to know that as I was writing my book, it wasn't until we were pretty much into the production process that I realized that I was going to want to market my book. I thought it was going to be a glorified business card and didn't really plan on it early in the writing process. And so I had to play catch up. And as I played catch up, I had to do a lot of research, and I used YouTube in order to learn how to market and launch a book. I learned about launch parties and various different things that you could do to really create excitement about the launch and then make sure that you continued to market it. And so what I'm talking about today is really up to launch and within a couple of days afterwards. And then I have a whole separate conversation about the post-launch publicity and marketing. Now, I did do a blog post that's out on Medium under Terri Hansen Mead, where I talked about how I learned through various different resources, mostly through YouTube, on how to market a book. There are some really great resources out there that you can look at 3 to 5 minute videos and learn a lot very, very quickly. And that's what I ended up having to do. I guess the point at which I decided that I was going to market the book was about 2.5 months before launch. My launch was scheduled for September 1st, and so this was like mid to late June. So at that point, I put together a high-level marketing plan and a high-level social media plan. Now, I already had a newsletter that I've been doing weekly for over 2 years as part of my podcast. So I had a podcast following. I had a newsletter, a subscription list of about 600 people, and I already had somewhat of a social media presence. I'd been blogging about things out on Medium, just doing updates on what was going on with the book. So I had some sort of a presence out there. And so I was going to be taking advantage of it, but my writing coach and book producer and I kind of mapped out what the plan was going to be. And the first thing that I needed was a launch team. So I put together a list of about 20 people who would be interested in pre-ordering my book when I put it out on Amazon. The book was going to be available in ebook, audiobook, and paperback. So we did a pre-order that started about a month and a half, about 6 weeks before launch. And I did it at 99 cents so that my launch team could buy the book and then be able to review it on Amazon. There are various different rules around it, and it keeps kind of changing. I don't know the specifics around it, but I knew it was better if they had actually bought it on Amazon to be able to do reviews. My goal was to have about 25 to 30 reviews on launch day, which meant that I put together this launch team so that they could commit to buying the book off of Amazon and then reviewing it on launch day, and of course doing a 5-star review. And so that was the first thing, and then communicating out to them. So as soon as the book was available in ebook format, and we were still doing some final production stuff, but I used something called BookFunnel, and so I was able to provide the ebook copy out to them so they could read it in advance of the launch date, at which point they could go ahead and they could write a review. I also worked on creating a website. Now, my writing coach, book producer, editor, Katie, encouraged me to create a landing page so that I could collect email addresses earlier in the process. Now, I didn't do that. So a couple weeks before launch, I worked with my marketing person, Jacqueline, to create a pilotingyourlife.com website. In the book, I talk about resources, I talk about specific things, and so my website has a lot more for my readers than your typical, here's where you can buy it, here's how fabulous it is, here's some great reviews from people. And so we ended up having kind of a big production around the website, but having that and then also being able to have a little giveaway. People are able to get something called a flight plan, which I talk about in my book. It's everything's around aviation. And so for them to get access to it, they have to give me their email address through the website. So we went ahead and we set that up so that I could continue to get more people on my mailing list, so that when I do my weekly in-flight newsletter, my mailing list continues to grow. So I also made it so that you could preview a chapter out on the website. So I worked with a typesetting person to get the introduction and the first chapter, so that both of those are kind of giveaways or freebies available out on the website, so that can encourage people to then go out and buy the book either through an online retailer or through Amazon or through me. We also talked about doing a launch party, and there are, based on the research that I did, there are a couple different ways that you can do a launch party. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to thank all of the women that I interviewed for the book, and I also wanted to thank my launch team. And so what we ended up doing is, in the first weekend in October, I did a launch party, invited everybody, and then I wanted to use that as an opportunity to take pictures and have those pictures available for other promotional and marketing activities. Now, other people do launch parties to sell tickets for like $25, and then you get a book and a picture, a signed book and a picture. You can do it that way. I did a book signing event a week after the book launched at a local business. And some people actually thought that was the launch party. It was a lot of fun. I had champagne, I signed books. People who had purchased books from Amazon that had arrived, they brought them so I could sign them. And then I also did sell books there. I ended up doing a little bit of a book reading, and I ended up selling a couple books. So that was a lot of fun to do. It wasn't really the launch. You could probably call it a soft launch, but it wasn't really the launch. But there are different ways that you can use your launch party to generate excitement around your book in order to encourage people to buy it. But mine was really more of a thank you. I did it at a local business. In fact, I did it at the business in Redwood City, California, where I live, where I wrote most of the book. So it was kind of fun to have that there and kind of go full circle from the point where I started the research to the point where I launched it. So that was a lot of fun. One other thing that I did is I created branded bookmarks and stickers to go not only into all of the books that I sold and I signed, but also when I go various different places and someone might be interested, I can hand them a bookmark or I can hand them a sticker, and then the sticker can go onto their computer. I took a funny line out of my book, and so it's very memorable. My writing coach apparently ordered thousands of bookmarks for her books and didn't end up using all of them, but I think most of her books are ebooks. They're not actually the paperbacks, and with the paperbacks I can slip these inside. So this is my cute little bookmark, and then this is my cute little sticker. And the bookmark, actually both of them I designed in Canva, and then I just imported over into Vistaprint for the bookmark, and then I think it was Sticker Mule for the stickers. I liked the ability to be able to select the die cut in the form of a cloud, whereas the other ones didn't really allow me to do that. It's really fun to have these because when I do house parties or book club parties, then I put these out as kind of decoration along with my book and some other little goodies. So it's fun to have these as little giveaways. Plus I have my website on the back for people to be able to go check out the resources on there and then potentially buy more books. As I look back on the summer before I launched, it seemed like there was a ton of activity and maybe a lot more, but so much of this was so incredibly new and I had no idea what I was doing. And as a result, all of it was a little overwhelming. But in the end, I'm really happy with where I ended up. So really what it came down to is when I decided to market, I put together a plan, decided on what my marketing budget was going to be, which wasn't huge, put together my launch team, made sure they were set up to do reviews, and created the website so people knew to go to it in order to get access to places where they could buy the book, because it's all about trying to sell more copies of the book. So it's really as much as you're interested in doing and as much as you're willing to do. I probably could have spent 50 hours a week working on the marketing and creating even more excitement and more buzz around it, but really I had other things to do. So if you're working on your book, I wish you the best of luck, and just plan execute and continue to be excited, because if you're excited, other people will be excited too.